August 1972. The world watched in shock as a military dictator ordered 80,000 Asians out of Uganda in just 90 days.
What will happen to these people if they don't go by the time limit?
I think they will be sitting like they are sitting on the fire. I will tell you this. You just wait after 3 months.
What will you do to them?
Okay, you will see. I think they will not sit comfortable here in Uganda. I will tell you this. I must actually tell you the truth.
Families lost their homes, businesses collapsed, and the economy crumbled. But what led to this drastic decision? And what were the consequences for both the expelled and the nation left behind? In this video, we explore the rise of Idi Amin, the reasons behind the expulsion, the harrowing experiences of those forced to flee, and the long-lasting impact of one of the most controversial events in modern African history. It's a story of power, prejudice, and perhaps resilience. The roots of this expulsion stretch back to Uganda's colonial past. When the British ruled East Africa, they imported tens of thousands of South Asians, mainly from India, to build the Uganda Railway, a project so arduous it was called the Lunatic Line. Many of these laborers stayed afterwards, establishing a vibrant merchant class in Uganda. By the mid-20th century, Uganda's South Asian community made up only 1% of the population but controlled nearly 90% of the country's businesses. While their contributions to the economy were undeniable, resentment simmered among native Ugandans who saw them as a privileged elite with little integration into Ugandan society. The British colonial system also exacerbated ethnic divides by favoring South Asians in business and administration while leaving the native Ugandans in lower-paying jobs. This would create a fertile ground for mistrust and scapegoating after independence. In 1962, Uganda gained independence under Milton Obote as its first prime minister. While the nation celebrated freedom, underlying tensions remained. Obote tried to implement policies that would redistribute wealth and empower native Ugandans, but his government was plagued by corruption and inefficiency. Meanwhile, the Asian community continued to thrive, often seen as a foreign middle class that profited while the majority struggled. This divide only got worse as Uganda's economy stagnated in the late 1960s. And enter Idi Amin. A former boxer and soldier, Idi Amin was known for his charisma and unpredictability. In 1971, he seized power in a coup, presenting himself as a populist leader who would restore Uganda's glory. Initially, many Ugandans supported him, hoping for a change after years of economic stagnation under Obote. But Amin's rule quickly turned authoritarian. Obsessed with consolidating power, he used nationalism as a tool to rally support. And he found a convenient target: Uganda's Asian community.
They have been milking the economy of the country. Uganda will be independent after this, my decision. I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians.
On August 4th, 1972, Idi Amin stunned the world by announcing that all Asians without Ugandan passports had 90 days to leave the country. Amin claimed divine inspiration for his decision, saying he had a dream where God told him to expel Asians to restore Uganda's economy. The announcement caused chaos. Families scrambled to sell businesses and properties, but with only weeks to leave, most assets were sold at a fraction of their value or abandoned entirely. Airports and embassies were overwhelmed as tens of thousands sought refuge in countries like the UK, Canada, and India. The expulsion displaced over 80,000 people, creating a humanitarian crisis. While countries like the UK and Canada welcomed many refugees, Their journeys were not without struggle. Expelled Asians faced racism, unemployment, and the challenge of rebuilding their lives from scratch. In Uganda, the fallout was devastating. Idi Amin redistributed abandoned businesses to his supporters, many of whom lacked the skills to run them. The economy quickly collapsed, with shortages of goods, skyrocketing inflation, and widespread poverty. Within 2 years, Uganda's GDP had plummeted by over 20%. Idi Amin's reign of terror didn't last. In 1979, his regime was overthrown and he fled into exile. But the damage he had caused lingered for decades. Uganda's economy took years to recover, and the expulsion of Asians remains a dark chapter in its history. The expulsion of Asians from Uganda was something born from prejudice, populism, and poor leadership, leaving scars that remain to this day. Idi Amin's infamous decree serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of how dangerous rhetoric and authoritarianism can devastate both individuals and nations. We would like to hear from you. Do you think Uganda could have taken a different path? Could this all have been avoided, or do you think Idi Amin made the right call in 1972? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Simon Bayani, and this is Africa in Retrospect. Cheers for now.